go. Let's see if this works. Hopefully you guys can hear this. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
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 We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheap Seat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
For the greater good. Ho, ho, ho. That's all I got. That's all I got. Short notice.
That was perfect. That was perfect. Oh, thank you so much for that. Oh, if you're listening, you're thinking, wait a minute, that didn't sound like a dude. Well, it's not, and I'll explain why in just a second. This is episode 428. That's right, 428. And today we're talking about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, the 1989 Christmas Vacation. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is not Andrew or Sam. Neither one of them are here. That's right. This has only ever happened one other time, and I did it was just me and a good friend Steven of the show. No, this is different. This is just well, it's three of us still, but so joining me tonight is not joining me, I guess, is sitting in the co-captain's chair is Jess. Was once attacked by a squirrel from the Opinionated Luscious podcast.
Hi. That was such a great introduction. Here I am. I'm not going to say that I kidnapped Andrew or Sam or anything, just so I could get the spot. I'm not going to say that, but I'm very happy to be here and fill in for them. Yes.
No, again, like Jessica, she is the full co-captain here of the show. She's my co-host. And I'm very excited. And yes, we just had her on like 2 weeks ago, or an attempted 2 weeks ago, right? Because we tried to have you on for Wrongfully Accused, and then we had you on for Spirited. So
it's not my fault. Canada has like all its media blocked. I don't know what it is. You can't watch anything up here.
Which is weird because again, like I don't know, that movie was filmed in Canada, so you would expect them to like.
you would think, but no.
No, but no. And making her Cheap Seat Reviews debut is Kelli. Do we ever find out what that Mother's Day present he found in the attic is? From the Drunk Theory podcast.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
I am fantastic, and I am so happy to be here.
This is my first time meeting Kelli, too, so this is amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of my first time too, even though we've been Twitter buddies for like
all the time, like on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, we've been Twitter buddies for like 2 years, but this is the first time having you on the show. So, which is funny because like the last time we tried to collab, I mean, we're talking not quite a calendar year ago. You were watching some horrible movie that had, what's his name? The guy that plays Rusty in Vegas Vacation. Come on.
No idea.
I can't even think of who plays Rusty in Vegas Vacation.
Yeah, it's the Nick Papadopoulos, Ethan Embry.
Oh, we love Ethan Embry.
Yeah,
Ethan Embry loves us.
So she tweets at Ethan Embry, "Hey, we're watching this terrible movie," and he like retweeted back or whatever and stuff. And so
it was Evolver, right?
Evolver, that's what it was. And so we were supposed to do that. No, but
it's not terrible. It's wonderful. I love it.
Oh, well, whatever.
Hey, Ethan.
We were supposed to do that together. We were going to do Evolver and try to see if we could get him to come on the show. And then every time we tried to nail down, like, hey, what does this weekend work? No, we can't do that one. Well, what about this one? No, we can't do that. And so then it just turned into, we'll just figure it out later. So that was, I mean, it was probably 9 months ago, easily.
Scheduling for us is a nightmare because we all have completely different schedules. Like, and I'm the most flexible because I'm salary and during the day, but like Kara works nights, and then Ryan works all kinds of weird hours. So if we can get 1 or 2 recordings a month, even just for our show, we feel like we're doing good.
Right.
So yeah, we just can't ever get together that often.
Well, and speaking of your show, what is your show?
So I am with Drunk Theory. We get drunk and talk about conspiracy theories, but we do the fun stuff like Bigfoot and birds aren't real. It's all about just getting drunk and laughing about some silliness. We are definitely not safe for work, but people think we're funny. So I don't know.
That's exactly how I advertise things. It's like, people think we're funny. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So
I love the idea of just like random. So like, what's one of your favorite conspiracy theories?
So I actually loved when we did Birds Aren't Real.
Yeah. Because
that one was just so much fun to do. But let's see, what else have we done recently?
have you done Avril Lavigne?
Yes, we have done. Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Avril Lavigne isn't real?
No, she's replaced by Melissa.
She's a clone. So we did this like as part of like a whole clones episode, like where a lot of people have been cloned, or that people are reptilians, like Beyonce is a reptilian. There are all of those.
I like it.
Yeah, we love the silliness. Bigfoot and chupacabras and all of that.
So Jess, I'm curious, do you have a theory that you love?
Well, besides like the Avril Lavigne one, was like my favorite because if you look at the evidence, there's things like she had a mole removed, her style changed. Like that's it, and you're just like, she's like in her 30s now. Like, of course her style changed. Like, what are you talking about? So I like, it's all the evidence that people bring to conspiracies. That is my favorite part about conspiracy. Yeah.
So the one that I adhere to, believe wholeheartedly. Now this is a sports conspiracy theory. It's not as outlandish as birds aren't real, but like, so I live in Charlotte, so I'm a Charlotte Hornets fan, and the year. So the way the NBA draft goes, for those who are nerds and don't know, I'm not trying to mansplain, I'm just explaining it because it's dumb. They have a draft lottery. Right. So it's not like the worst team gets the first pick. It's the worst team gets the most ping pong balls in a hopper to potentially get the first pick. Right. So.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that because I watch football. I do not watch basketball. So I actually didn't know that was a thing.
Sure. And it's insane because it's also done behind closed doors. It's not on camera. It's not live. It's behind closed doors. And they just announce, here are the 5 teams to go in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then they go all the way through what's called the lottery pick, up to 12. And then the rest are, once you get into the playoffs, you don't get a lottery pick. You just have your number. So the Hornets in the lockout year were historically bad, right? Now, they had a shortened season. A normal NBA season is 82 games. I think they only played like 50 games that year. But they only won 7 games. They won 7. They won 7. All right? The next worst team won 21 games. 3 times as many, right? That math works, right?
Yeah,
3 times as many. So that's how bad the Hornets were next to the next team. But the next team was the newly formed New Orleans. It was the time New Orleans Hornets. Now they're called New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans were bought by the NFL owner of the Saints, and I 100% believe that the NBA said, well, the NFL is going to put money into the NBA. That's big time money. We don't want to piss them off, so we're going to give them the number 1 overall pick, which the player coming out that year was like a once in a generation talent. His name is Anthony Davis. So the Pelicans get Anthony Davis, and we get a guy who's not in the league anymore, right? Because that's the way the draft works sometimes. So I 100% believe that the NBA screwed us out of Anthony Davis because they didn't want to piss off the NFL. I 100% believe that.
I love it.
So.
We haven't done sports conspiracies because we're not really sports people, but
Yeah.
I do love football, and I'm a Saints fan, so that's funny.
We're gonna have some problems in about a week and a half.
I'm Canadian. We just hockey or nothing.
Hockey.
You got football up there. You
I
got
did.
the CFL.
I did. Yeah, the CFL. I used to work tickets for the CFL at our local stadium. Okay.
That's cool.
And you know what? They would give us samples of chips to hand out at the end of the game. And when it was a game our city lost, it was the worst thing to have to do because people would just throw them at you. They'd be so upset.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you always hoped for a win.
Who was your team? The team?
We are the Hamilton Ticats.
The Tiger Cats. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is our local team.
So they're actually pretty good, and I know that because the college that I went to, our star quarterback who didn't make it in the NFL became a wide receiver, and I think he won a championship with the Tiger Cats, if I'm not mistaken. So
maybe.
Yeah, I know.
We have the Tim Hortons field that didn't open on time, so the first few games of the CFL was held at our local university, where it could only hold like 200 people. So that was fun too.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So yeah, we really
just
care
love that
about the
y'all
CFL up here.
Giving out chips, like even if they're throwing them, the fact that y'all are still giving them out is like another example of Canadian.
They
people
were
being
weird
nice.
chips. To be fair, they were not like regular or salt and vinegar or like classics. They were like calamari something like weird samplers of like chips that we handed out. Yeah, so it was even worse because they're like, I don't want this, and we're just like, I only make $10 an hour. Like, why are you doing this? So maybe I'm a little biased against sports. Maybe that's it. It's just bias.
I love that so much that you guys like. That just seems like such a Canadian thing to do.
I told you Canadians are not nice to other Canadians. I said this.
I don't mean the throwing of the chips. The fact that you hand out potato chips at the end of a game is just such a weird thing to me. It's just...
Well, samples of other things. I think we did like little half sample protein bars once. Once was like cans of something. You know, it's just all these.
I mean, I guess those. Yeah, they're probably league sponsors, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you said it was Tim Hortons Field, so it's not like Tim Hortons is handing out samples because that product works. So they don't need to.
Yeah, they don't need to. They don't need to. They're free calamari chips. Yep.
Calamari chips. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, we should start talking about this movie because as much fun as it would be to basically turn this into an episode of Opinionated Lushes, we should actually.
That's all we do.
Which would be fun since I'm drinking a lovely strawberry watermelon flavored water. So.
Ooh, that's almost a drink.
It's what I drink.
He doesn't drink, and my podcast also revolves around drinks, which I assume your Drunken Theory podcast also does. So he's the odd one out.
I am absolutely the odd one out, and I'm okay.
I'm drinking the Full Contact Imperial Hazy IPA, which is delicious and wonderful. And this is like my third. Like I'll probably have like 10 more. No.
She'll turn into Chevy Chase by the end of the night.
Yeah, these are like 8.8%, so I could probably only have a few more.
Okay, so about this movie.
So we are doing National Lampoon's Vegas Christmas. I don't want to say Vegas. I'm going to say it probably 2 or 3 more times.
That's
Christmas Vacation, and it's mainly because
I don't think I've seen Vegas Vacation. I need to go watch it.
That was my introduction to the vacation movies.
Really?
That was my first one. So I do have a little bit of a confession to make, and we are going to do the read. And I forgot to tell Jessica that that's also her responsibility as the co-host of the show is to do the IMDb read.
Okay.
But I'm a vamp here while she pulls up the IMDb page. But this was my first time ever watching this from the beginning to the end in one sitting.
Oh wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I know, that's amazing to me because I've seen it like a gajillion times.
And I know most people have, and it's going to be really interesting as we talk tonight because I feel like my perception of this movie is going to be very different because I watched it for the first time all the way through, 24 hours ago. Whereas you probably watched it as a kid, and
Oh yeah, nostalgia is huge with this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
The nostalgia factor, yes. Like
I
my
have it
stars for
open.
anything I saw when I was like 10 or below.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So what is Christmas Vacation?
Okay, so I'm just reading the IMDb storyline. There's no
Yeah,
other. Okay, I just want to confirm.
You're all over it.
Okay. It's Christmas time, and the Griswolds are preparing for a family seasonal celebration, but things never run smoothly for Clark, his wife Ellen, and their 2 kids. Clark's continual bad luck is worsened by his obnoxious family guests, but he manages to keep going knowing that his Christmas bonus is due soon.
Oh, nice. Is that like the synopsis? Where did you find that?
I don't know. It just said storyline.
Oh, okay.
It was the first thing I had there on the IMDb site. So.
Yeah, when you go to IMDb, when you scroll down right underneath the trailer that's constantly playing, where it just says the Griswold family's plans for a big family Christmas predictably turn into a big disaster.
Oh, I scrolled past there and went to storyline.
No worries. You did exactly what I asked you to do, which was ultimately nothing. Because I didn't ask you to do this ahead of time. So, again, I'm a bad host at this. I really, there's no reason why we should be getting ready to celebrate 9 years as a podcast. Let's just be honest.
Oh my God, 9 years. And what, like 400 something episodes you said?
This is 428, yeah.
That's insane.
I had the same reaction.
It just means that we started a long time ago and no one's told us to stop. So
I think we're 2 years and something, and not even 100 episodes, like maybe 60 episodes. I don't know.
Yeah, but you probably have significantly more listens than we do, and that's okay. I'm proud of our little corner of the world.
Oh, you guys are great.
So as I said, I mean, best guess, honestly, Kelli, you said you've seen this movie 1,000 times. I mean, are we legitimate? We talking like triple digits or maybe 20, 30, 40 times?
I would say 30, 40 times.
Okay.
Would be like a real legit guess here. Yeah.
Jessica, what would you say? I'm curious.
I'd probably be similar, because I think once a year since I was maybe 6 when I probably saw it for the first time, and then there's a few years where I watched it 2 to 3 times. So exactly, that sounds like a close estimate. I would say 30.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I just, for whatever reason, this wasn't part of my viewing. I certainly didn't watch this with my parents, and the few times that I would see it would be on TNT, right, or TBS growing up, and it would always be the same clips. It would always be the sledding scene.
Yep.
And then it would always be the turkey bit, right, when they open the turkey up and it just it explodes, right?
Yeah.
That was it. So the whole bonus bit I never got. When Eddie shows up as unexpectedly, I'd never seen. The fact that they kidnapped the boss, I had never seen. The whole scene in the attic was new to me. I'd seen none of that. Or the sales when he's when he's all tongue tied and saying,
that's fabulous.
I mean, it's a funny scene, and I wrote in my notes. And for those who know, if I take a lot of notes, sometimes that means I didn't really like the movie. And if I take only a few notes, that usually means I love the movie because I'm into the mode. I took a lot of notes on this movie. I'm just saying, we'll figure out what that means later. That's all I'm going to say for now, because I don't want to spend the whole episode you guys yelling at me and being mad at me.
Oh, yeah, we're going to fight later.
He's going to wait till he can hang up. He's going to wait till most of the episode is done, and then he's going to be okay, now here's my point.
My score out of 10 is 3, and then just hang up.
Yeah. No, I did want to ask, though, if it's not getting off topic, since that wasn't one of your Christmas movies, what did y'all watch in your house?
So growing up with my parents, I don't have any memories of, okay, it's Christmas time, we have to watch this. We didn't do that. I remember, a Mickey's Christmas Carol, and I remember the Mickey's Christmas Carol, and one of the other little video, it was a VHS kind of thing of some Disney stuff and some cartoon stuff, but we didn't have, okay, it's time to, like, I have never seen, and you both are going to lose your shit, and I know it, and it's fine, and listeners at home are going to lose it too, okay? I have never seen A Christmas Story.
I was about to ask about A Christmas Story. I've seen A Christmas Story 2, and A Christmas Story Christmas.
So I have not seen it, and it's because I watched a little bit of it one time, and it's when Santa puts his foot on the kid's face and pushes him down the slide,
Yeah.
and that bothered me so much as a kid. I was like, I don't want any part of that.
If
Because
that
that's-
bothered you, it gets worse.
I know, like I've heard since then, like, and somebody else my age was saying the same thing on a different podcast. They were like, yeah, I went back and rewatched it for the first time in 30 years. That movie is nothing but a bunch of bullies. And the guy was like, yeah, that's why I can't watch it. Because he's like, I was watching it for the first time with my kid, and he was uncomfortable the whole time because he's like, this is the stuff I see at school. And it's just kids bullying this kid. And so I'm like, oh, I guess I don't feel bad about it. Plus, the dad's an idiot. Like, I don't know. There's something about that never works for me. I don't know why. But
It's
anyway.
the nostalgia factor there because I love it. We watched that one on repeat because I think it was like TBS would just play it over
Yeah.
and over and over again on, I think it was like Christmas Eve all the way through
Mhm.
Christmas Day, and it would just be on. So we would
Yeah,
watch it over and over and over. But I love it. I still love it. Christmas Story 2 is awful. A Christmas Story Christmas is actually really cute, I think.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, but
But I don't have the
if you don't
nostalgia.
like the original, I don't know how you'd feel about the new one, but
Well, and I don't have the nostalgia of it again. So, like, if I watched it, if I had to watch it, it would be for the podcast. Honestly, that's the
Yeah.
only way I would watch it is if Jessica next year says you have to do this movie, or I'm never coming on your show again. Then I would probably do it. But who knows how I'd feel? I have no idea. I'm trying to keep an open mind.
I
But-
wouldn't make you do that. So I'm sorry.
I was giving you an awkward example, but my point was back to my notes is to the lady at the counter. First of all, my wife was like, she was like, we were both kind of uncomfortable, right? It's like when you're watching someone flirt with someone else badly, and it's supposed to be uncomfortable. So like that's what I wrote. I wrote this interaction with the hot store lady was painful, but it's supposed to be. And then I
Yes.
wrote ... Wow. And the wow was when she's like showing him her underwear.
well, I wonder if the uncomfortable is just because you're a man, because I think women just think that is funny. Like I thought
is
that was
that-
so fun.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
I find it's like cringy, and then it becomes funny when he gets caught.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, this is awkward and cringy, and she's just trying to make the sale, and you know that. And then when he gets caught by Russ, it's like, ha, in your face.
Yeah. Well, and
Or
it's
maybe
funny
it's
because
just me. Maybe I just think it's funny
well, and it's also
because I'm
it's kind of
old
funny
and
to
I've
me.
heard it all. I don't know.
Well, sure. I mean, and to me, there's a funny timing to it because one of my friends on Twitter who works in retail, literally like the day before her tweet, she tweeted simply, "The salesperson is not flirting with you," like that, and like she tweeted that like 11,000 times, right? Like as many times as she can fit in the tweet, and then tweeted that 3 or 4 times, because she's a female working in that industry, and so she's just like. That's all she wrote. That's kind of in the back of my mind but even in the movie though, she's kind of flirty with him a little bit, and of course that she's directed to do that again.
That's what I'm saying. They don't like you. They're not like if they're just trying to get the sale. They're just
Yeah.
trying to say and do the
Especially
things
if they're
to get
on
the sale.
commission.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially if they're on commission. So it also reminded me of the awkward scene with Will Smith in Enemy of the State when he goes into a lingerie store, but like the women are just walking around in lingerie, and he doesn't like know what to do. He's super uncomfortable, and then so the girl says, "So what about cup size?" And he goes, "I don't know what that means." And then she points to her boobs, and he just goes, "Oh, she's way bigger than you."
That's amazing. I love it.
It's a funny scene in a movie that's filled with an action spy thriller. It's a really funny moment.
Enemy of the State. I'm writing that down.
Oh, it's a Will Smith movie. It's good. It's a Tony Scott directed movie. It's got Will Smith
Oh, I like Tony Scott.
and crap, I can't think of his name. Anyway, it's not important. The important thing is this movie.
Yes.
Jessica, give us your 5-word review.
Okay. I do have 2. So, my 5-word reviews tend to be more just like just about how my overall feeling of this movie, and my first thing that came to my mind was a Christmas movie without Christmas? ? Because it ends on Christmas Eve. We never see Christmas. It never happens. So is this really more of a Christmas movie than, say, other not Christmas movies? Because they still see Christmas Day. So that is my 5-word review for that one.
Okay, I like it. I do.
I love it, and I actually never even thought about it because, like, in my head, Christmas Eve and Christmas are just kind of wrapped into one kind of thing, so I don't care if it makes it to the next day or whatever. But yeah, I love it.
Well, part of the storyline is whether, like, Clark's brothers, Eddie's kids, are gonna get Christmas gifts,
right?
And then we never see whether they got Christmas gifts.
Apparently, there is a sequel to this that nobody knows about.
Oh yeah, there is, with like Eddie on the cover. Yeah.
Because somebody on Letterboxd commented on my review of this movie, like, they're like, "Don't watch the sequel," and I'm like, "What? Yeah. There's a sequel?"
That's what I heard too. I've only seen the cover of it, and it's Eddie's, like, I think it's like Eddie's Christmas. Like, I think that's why it's so bad.
Of course, I'm absolutely gonna have to watch it, but I have not seen it as of yet.
But yeah, so that bothered me because I don't like open-ended questions, especially because a lot of their gifts got damaged during like the fire thing and stuff. So yeah, so I was a little that left questions. And then my second one was classics great, even when problematic, because it's a classic and it's great even when, if it came out today, it would be canceled.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Those are my 5 words.
I like those. Those are good.
I mean,
you're not wrong about the whole being canceled thing either. There's some problems.
There's a problem. Chevy Chase is a problem.
Well, Chevy Chase himself is a problem, but that's a different thing. All right, Kelly, what's your 5-word review?
All right, so when I was thinking about reviews and everything, I was thinking about how quotable this movie is, and I was wishing
pledge
that
allegiance to the.
Sorry, I didn't mean for that. Sorry.
I was wishing that I had 6 words because it would have been "bend over and I'll show you," which is also what I have on my T-shirt right now.
Nice.
That's amazing.
But so since I only had 5 words, I've got "holy shit, where's the Tylenol?"
It is a very
"Bend over and I'll
quotable
show
movie.
you" is the greatest line ever uttered in any movie.
Yeah, Chevy Chase is great. Like I find a lot of the actors in this movie were so, like, just the way they delivered their lines was so just like, it sounded out of pocket. Like, it sounded like they just did it there. Like, there was no script. That was just how it went.
It's so quotable. Like, "Why's the carpet all wet, Todd?" I mean, it's so good.
Okay, can we talk about those two for a second? Like,
absolutely.
Like, they are literally only there to just be defeated constantly, right? Like they are. I mean, because Chevy Chase is already kind of the Wile E. Coyote in the cartoon here in this movie, but like, if there was a second character that when the coyote is failing to get the Roadrunner, he also foiled the other person's plans, whatever. Like, that's what they are. Like, they're just trying to live their life, and he is. I mean, everything is just a nightmare. And again, all I could think of is, boy, they would have sued the shit out of him.
Yes.
As much of damage as he broke windows and cut down a tree. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff that would just not work in today's society, but it's just too funny to me.
So I'm not quite sure about that, because there is a lot of stuff that you will put up with from crazy neighbors if they're also somewhat entertaining. And I know that from experience. Like, we have had some like really crazy neighbors who have like run into like other people's yards and into their trees on like drugs and all kinds of stuff. Not that I live in a bad neighborhood, because I don't. I just live it. We just have had crazy people. So I don't know. I think that there's some entertainment value there.
Well, they
Especially
also don't know that it was like the icicle thing. They don't know that it was the Griswolds. They highly suspect, but they don't know because
Yeah.
the weapon melted.
Yeah.
that's true.
But again, I just all of they are there for is to just be shit on the whole movie.
Yeah,
and
it's
just I mean that
hilarious.
it's like the movie that the director's going, okay, this part of the movie is getting a little slow, so let's just do something bad to them. Just we'll bump up the funny for just a minute, because that's all they were there for. I mean, like literally the first time we meet them is when he goes, oh, you got too much, where are you gonna put that tree? Because he thinks he's got one. He goes, oh, bend over and I'll show you.
Yep.
She's like, you can't talk
Best
to
line
me
in
like
anybody
that.
ever.
It's like, I was
But
talking
also,
to her.
they're so obnoxious. You want them to get it. Like, you want them to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they are the victims in this situation with the Griswolds, but they're not likable, so I don't care.
awful
Like, I'm not
people.
feeling
But-
bad for them.
Well, yeah,
That's
but
why
that's
it's
what,
funny. Like,
yeah, it's a John Hughes movie for that. Like, that's what makes it a
Yeah.
John Hughes movie, is
Yeah.
that if we're gonna make sure that we've got some bad guys here that you can hate. I mean, like, the only way they could have been more dislikable is if somehow they would have injured an animal.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, oh, you have a dog. Dogs are gross and ugly, and you know what I'm saying? Like, if they would have been like beating puppies, is the only way they could have been more douchey.
The
So-
matching sweatsuits,
Oh, yeah.
like
Oh yeah, yeah.
With the Evian water.
they were just visually unlikable. Like, before you even hear
Right.
them talk, and then you hear them talk, and then it just continues. You're like, oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's whatever the late '80s version of like the '90s yuppies were, and I don't know what today's are. Just I guess
Well, yuppies
Zen X or
emerged in
Gen
the
Z.
80s,
Gen
so they
Z.
were just the yuppies.
It is too funny.
I love it.
All right, y'all ready for my 5-word review? Are you
Yes.
ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Is it gonna make us mad?
I don't know. We'll find
Oh,
out.
okay. Okay.
Does this movie hold up?
Do you
All
want to answer to that?
In my opinion, this movie, it holds up for you two, and it holds up for everyone that's seen this movie before 2022. But I saw it for the first time 24 hours ago, and for me, this doesn't hold up. Now, I still laughed at a lot of the jokes. The stuff was still pretty funny. I really had a good time with Cousin Eddie and all of his ridiculousness. I mean, he is just like, they could not have cast a better person for it, because that dude is legitimately crazy. I mean, I feel like they just said, hey, Randy Quaid, just act like you. You know, I mean, there's a reason why he's been hiding in Canada for the last 30 years, because he
Yep.
can't step foot back here, right? He's he's Cousin Eddie, right? And there was a lot of a lot of it worked, but there's a lot of it that's just slapstick for the sake of slapstick, right? When he's in the attic and the boards are hitting him in the face, I was rolling my eyes. Nothing about that to me was funny. When he's walking on top of the drywall, I was like, I'm as a guy who has worked in ceilings before, I'm saying out loud, you can't stand on that. And any man worth his salt would know that you can't stand on that. You stand on the beams. As a man who has fallen through a ceiling, wasn't my own, it was at a construction site. As one who's fallen through a ceiling, I can attest to you, you can't stand on that. I wasn't standing on it. I slipped, but I went through. It was a drop ceiling. It hurt very badly. The other thing that drove me crazy, and again, it was a great gag, the lights on the house, right? It was it was funny to watch him struggle with the lights, and he goes through and he checks each one individually, and I'm fine with all of that. But it comes down to it's a switch in the garage that he's got like 48 outlets plugged into, or 48 plugs plugged into this thing, right?
Yep.
Every man ever worth, knows what every, I'm going to refer, okay, I shouldn't say every man, because I know that there's a lot of men that are not home, whatever, and that women are that, I'm going to get in trouble here a little bit. Any man that is as a handyman as this actor or this character is portrayed as. Is that fair?
Yes.
He
uses a chainsaw.
I mean, a guy that, he has a chainsaw with the hockey mask. This is a guy with an extension ladder, which doesn't work very well. I mean, he is a manly, do-it-yourself kind of guy, and yet he doesn't. I know what every outlet and every switch in this house does.
I don't know that he is that. Like, I think that all men want to be. And they have those toys and they think they know how to use them. And the fact that, like, Beverly D'Angelo in the end just goes and flips the switch and makes everything okay again is so funny to me because
no, it is funny. I get the gag. I really do. But my problem is that I'm eye rolling also. I'm laughing at the character. I'm not laughing with him. I'm laughing at him going, how freaking dumb are you? You should know your house.
Well, I was about to say, is this the first time he's ever put lights on this house?
Yes.
Like, even before, like, maybe this is the first time he did a lot of lights on this house. But if he ever put his, like, he had the old reindeer set. I'm sure he hooked that up before. Did he not know what switches did that?
And that ball of lights clearly came from from last year. He just rolled it all up and stuck it in a box. You didn't buy it from Walmart out of that. So, yeah, it's just.
But you kind of wonder that because, like, at the very beginning, Beverly D'Angelo is like, are you sure you just don't want to go away for Christmas? So it kind of makes it seem like this is the first time, at least, that they're having the big crowd at their house. So maybe this is the biggest, the time he's tried to do the biggest thing.
And that was a surprise for both my wife and I when watching this. We did not realize that the family shows up at the beginning of the month. They're there for a month.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? No wonder he's ready to kill people and kidnap people by the end. I spent 3 days with my in-laws and I was ready to get them out. So, I don't know how that's going to translate in the podcast, and no one in my family listens to the show. But
perfect,
like,
supportive.
3 days now, but a month. Good hell! Like, there's no way. Yeah. And so that's what it was confusing because when she and I both thought, the family's showing up. It's Christmas time, and then he's like, he's putting up the lights. He's putting the lights up like Christmas Eve, and then as the Advent calendar started opening, I'm going, this is like back in December 1st when they all showed up. So it was very, again, very new for me. It was a good time. So
the worst part about that is that he planned this Christmas and then he goes off to work or he's outside in the garage or he's out putting lights on the house or whatever else while his wife's inside the house cooking food, taking them shopping, everything else, even though he planned that. So he knew what he was doing, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I did like that he had a little like folding paper plan of of everything. He had it all ready. I thought he opens up his plan of the lights. He's like, he's looking at the lights, he's looking at the plan. It's like, well, you know what? If a guy that's that meticulous that drew out blueprints, a wiring diagram for his Christmas lights, he would know which switch turned on the lights. Just saying.
Well, even his wife asked if he made sure to plug in because she knows how he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, they all kind of know how he is. I feel like he pays attention to like these broad details and not the like really small important details.
Yeah. And also clearly he's got a little bit of a temper when Rusty went to go talk to him and he just looks at him and he's like, "Good talk, Dad," and just walks away. It's like, well, we know not to talk to Dad. The movie there was a lot of very funny moments for the movie for me. It was just one of those things where there was Again, we don't know what was in the attic. He goes in the attic to hide presents for some reason. We don't know why he's hiding them in the attic because the tree is there. Just put them under the tree. They're wrapped. So he goes into the attic and he puts this box, and then he pulls out another box that says like 1959 Mother's Day present. So obviously he had hidden a gift for his mom.
There before, yeah.
But we don't know what it is. We never find out what that is. There's no payoff there.
But also, like, I guess that means he inherited that house. Well, not inherited because she's still alive, but
yeah. So that was the house he grew up in, and they moved out, and he hid that. And of course, I still don't understand how a pull down attic thing doesn't work from the top. Right? Like that's not how that works. There's not like a latch on the other side, and then. Why is he watching these home movies?
Honestly, have never been in my attic, and I probably will never go in my attic.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, I didn't know that, like that. I believed it because I've never been in an attic like that. So I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, why, like I was just like, okay.
But I did wonder about it. I'm like, is that true?
It's just a hinge with a spring.
I was just like, oh, it's old. Like, maybe old people just didn't think they might need to open it from like people generations ago just didn't think about that, I was like, oh, it makes sense. It's the old house, Didn't even question it.
As a guy who's had to spend many hours in the attic, moving wires and boxes and stuff. Yeah, that's definitely not a thing. And then the fact that he sits on it to watch the home movies, the gag worked. I mean, the gag made me laugh, but it's just... And the other part, when he goes through, right, he goes through the ceiling and he's on the top bunk, which again, there's no resolution to that. It's kind of like a cartoon or a sitcom. When something bad happens, we just move away from the camera. There's never a moment where there's a kid looking in the bed through the ceiling into the attic.
Yeah.
Or someone saying, like there would have been just as funny if some kid's like, I can't sleep on the top bunk. It's too cold, right? Because the attic air is blowing down, right? There was no payoff there. But when he went through, I thought, oh, he's just going to then go through that hole. That's what
I thought too.
You've already made the hole, so you're going to have to patch it. You might as well just get out. But nope. It just stays up there.
Wear some furs. Watch some movies.
It's so weird. Oh my gosh. And the SWAT team at the end cracked me up.
It sounds like you liked this movie. That's what I'm getting from this.
He doesn't want to admit that he liked it, but he really did.
There was a lot of fun to be had. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm kind of laughing at the movie, so I don't know if is that the same thing? I don't know, because there's a lot of dumb. There's a lot of dumb in this movie. I mean,
I feel like they did that on purpose. That's just National Lampoon,
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, and I forgot honestly. Because Vegas Vacation is kind of not serious, but it's not a parody. Mm-hmm. Whereas this one felt more parody than the other one. So that was I saw Vegas Vacation in a theater, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. And there's a really funny, Rusty, who's only like 19, gets a fake ID.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes gambling and is really good at it. And I'm not, because you said you hadn't seen it, so I don't want to spoil it. But he's really good at it, and ends up like there's this weird love triangle between Chevy Chase and his wife and what's that?
I can't remember. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
I can't think of his name either. But it's I'll look it up. It's gonna drive me crazy. Wayne Newton.
Oh,
it's just so weird. So
I feel like any Christmas special, like most Christmas specials of movies, ends up being cheesy. I feel like that's just when you add Christmas onto it, it's going to be cheesy. Extra cheese comes with Christmas.
It's funny.
I'm super forgiving of Christmas movies. Like if I could watch it, 5 stars.
Okay, Miss Jessica over here saying.
If I watch it and want to watch it again, yeah, absolutely, it's 5 stars.
Jessica over here saying it's forgiving. She's more forgiving, but she wasn't very forgiving on Spirited.
Okay, yeah, but that had Ryan Reynolds. That had Ryan Reynolds. I'm just automatically biased towards him now. so I can't help that. I can't help that. Plus, it was A Christmas Carol again.
Yeah, but
Like
the
another
movie tells you
one,
that.
and another one, and another
We really
one.
need another Christmas Carol movie. I mean, Scrooge did it the best. They should have just
Well, and
stopped after Scrooge.
And they make reference to that. They literally say, "Wait a minute, this is like a Christmas Carol, like the Bill Murray." He goes, "Yeah, it's the Bill Murray movie," and all of the other ones no one asked for. I mean, they're making
Yeah.
fun of themselves a little bit.
Okay. What's with Christmas movies having to be about making rich guys nice? Because even this movie ends with the rich guy being like, "Yeah, you're right. I should pay my workers." Like, why is that like a Christmas trope? And like, that's literally Christmas Carol, and then they like kind of changed it for this movie too. Could National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation be considered a Christmas Carol almost? It just didn't have ghosts. It just had gags.
I've never thought about it, but I guess that is a thing where, and maybe it's a thing where workers are all like, I hope my boss is just gonna like all of a sudden be nice and give me a bonus or give me the day off, or
Hope they have Christmas spirit. If not, I
Yeah.
guess I'm working. Like, it's just, yeah, it's a Christmas trope. I don't understand.
I don't know.
I had this same argument about Spirited, okay? Like, I brought this up too. I
Yeah.
was like, why?
Yeah, she did.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna have to watch it.
It's
I think
a
last
good
time I looked,
time.
it was
Don't
only like
listen
on
to.
Apple, and I like protest. I'm not
I
paying
said it
for
was
Apple.
a good time. I said it was a good time. I just had certain issues with it. I gave it a decent rating, like a
She did.
7 or something. Like, I was very. Stop saying I didn't like it.
Oh, you're
Libel.
it's slander.
Slander
in
is,
spoken
yeah,
word. It's
libel
libel
is
in
written.
print. and this is, okay. Side note, I know that only because of the movie Spider-Man. Right? So there are lots of little weird little facts
I
like
know
that
exactly
I
what you're talking about.
yeah, there's lots of little things like that I know from because of movies and TV shows and stuff.
Mhm.
So like I'll say something like that, and my wife or my dad will go, "How do you know that?" And I'll just say, "Well, I'm a college educated man. Come on." But then like, well, it's from Spider-Man, because when Tobey Maguire says, "You can't say that. That's slander," he goes, "No, in print it's libel."
Oh my god, that's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah. No, I am giving her a hard time. I mean, it was a movie that worked for most of us, and Jessica liked it just a little bit less than the rest of us. But
A
I made
little
it,
bit.
yeah, but I made it seem like she hated it, like she wanted it to be burned and never be seen by the light of day, and she wants to sue Apple for making us watch it. So,
I mean, maybe.
maybe. But
No,
she
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I didn't hate it that much. I swear.
you didn't hate it at all.
Exactly. See, now we have him saying that.
Yeah, you said you gave it like a 7 or something.
Yeah,
That's not
see,
hate.
and now we have him on record saying I didn't hate it at all. So from now on, he can't say I didn't hate it. We have it recorded.
You gave
I'm
it
gonna have to watch
you gave
the
it
movie
a
and then listen to y'all's episode. And
you gave it well, wait, hold on. That doesn't make sense.
What?
I'm looking at my score sheet here. That doesn't make sense.
Maybe I gave it a 6. I don't remember.
Well, no, because you because all 5 of us were there, right? For that episode, you, Sonia, Andrew, Sam, and myself were there, right?
Andrew wasn't there.
Andrew wasn't there. Then you gave it a 7. Yeah.
See?
That's what it was.
Memory of an elephant.
That's right. I don't know what that means, but okay.
There's elephants never
I know
forget.
elephants never forget, but I still don't understand why that's a thing. All right. I'm going to cook through a few more of my notes before we get to clips, because otherwise I feel like I'm just going to sit here and make fun of Jessica some more, and she's never going to want to come back on the show. So.
I'm an easy target. It's fine.
All right. So I already
Alice
mentioned.
Cooper on your shirt.
On my shirt? No,
Yeah.
actually, it's a friend of mine who's a musician named Todd Berriage, and he does covers. Yeah,
I
I
totally
buy
thought it
merch
was
for
Alice
my
Cooper,
friends.
that's
That's yeah.
That's cool. And then you could say, hey, your shirt was on YouTube, and 7 people saw it. So there you go. I think our average. We don't. This is. We've only recently started, and by recently I mean last week, started putting video on YouTube just because the guys don't usually. They're like, I don't care. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing it because it's YouTube. Why not? So maybe we'll get up to 8 viewers. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing it since the beginning, and we have 52 subs on ours, but we have so many videos on there. And we put unlisted videos on there that we link to our Patreon too. So that only, we just use our YouTube for all of that. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, you can get 3 videos on this from Drunk Theories.
I like it. Hey, whatever.
We'll
all right, so
I always have to watch myself back to make sure I don't look like really stupid, even though there's nothing I can do about it once it's out there.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with. I mean, okay. This is also inside baseball. I don't really listen to my show ever. Occasionally, I'll go back and listen just to see if I'm saying a word too many times, if I'm doing too many or likes. I've noticed that I use the word again too often. I'll say, oh, and again, Chevy Chase did this, and then again, let's not forget that he did this, and then again, I'll do that, and I've caught myself, so I try not to say it, but I don't really go back and listen to my show that often because I just don't. So some people,
I don't remember what we talk about, because we're so drunk when we record that most of the time that I don't even remember what we said, so I have to listen. And Kara just cuts out anything that would absolutely get us canceled. And everything else flies.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm the editor for my show, and so I'm the one that always listens to every episode in full, and that's always that's a YouTube exclusive, and then I'll just cut it out.
Nice. Okay, so a couple of notes I did write down was I was they're watching a parade, and I was confused by the parade because it's clearly not the Macy's Day Parade because it's the middle of December. So I guess it's just a generic Christmas parade in Chicago, I guess.
Yeah.
I did like the ladder stunt work that they were doing. I thought that was actually pretty cool. I was actually really impressed with that because some of those shots where I know it's a stunt double, but there's a guy on a ladder doing some stuff, and that was that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. Let's see. I was also always wondered why the way that he wired it was he standing in the middle of the yard to connect things. That seems like such a waste of extension cords. Just everything. Again, I'm an AV guy, so all of my wires are tucked away and hidden. So even during the daytime, you don't really see them at all because that stuff bothers me. So the fact that he's in the middle of the yard, it's a cool shot with him. He connects it, and then it finally comes on. You get the Hallelujah chorus. I get that part. It's just, I guess they're in the middle of the yard for the shot. I guess that's the answer to why. But it's
and he's very theatrical. That's what he wants to do. I mean, that's why he got the biggest tree and everything like that. So I could literally see him adding an extension cord just to be able to do that, for his family.
He is very extra. I didn't say this. This is my first note, by the way. So my first 2 notes are time code to capture clips. My first note that I wrote down is Clark is a dick. So we see him the first time we see him on camera, he's singing carols badly, and then torture his children, and then he gets into some road rage with 2 rednecks, and then almost dies by a trucker. It's just I don't understand. Just let the guy go. First he brake checks you, right? So obviously this is long before the time of dashboard cameras on the thing because that's illegal. But he brake checks you. Just let him go. Clearly these are people that don't care about insurance and premiums and car fixing, whatever. Just these guys probably have guns in their truck. Just let him go. But no, he's got to rev all 4.5 cylinders of that piece of crap car and just nearly
this is where you can tell that you're from North Carolina and I'm from South Carolina because that seemed totally legit to me. I'm I know people that do this. I have said that y'all are Target and we're Walmart. If you're comparing the two. But yeah, for real. That shouldn't seem odd to me at all. I'm I know everybody in this scenario.
My favorite thing to come out of South Carolina, of course, is the Carolina squat. So thank you for that, South Carolina. If you don't know what that is, it's when it was a fad for about 5 years, and then they made it illegal, where you get these big pickup trucks and you lower the back so that you're looking up into the sky. That started in South Carolina. It's called the Carolina Squat, and they made it illegal because you can't see where the F you're going.
Oh yeah, nobody here can drive. It's all obnoxious. It's awful.
Oh, I lived in South Carolina for a year, one year, and I said I can't do it anymore. I had to move back to North Carolina, and I'll never forget they passed a state tax on gas because South Carolina is notorious for having the cheapest gasoline in the Southeast. North Carolina, it's like $2.81. Georgia, it's $2.81. Virginia, it's $2.79. South Carolina is like $2.40. And we're like, yeah, but all of your roads are terrible.
That is true. Yeah.
So South Carolina said, we're going to put a 5-cent tax on our gas, a flat 5-cent tax to pay for the roads. And people lost their minds.
Yes.
Like, oh no, you can't do this, blah blah blah. We're like, you're some of your roads. I mean, there was a huge flood back in 2016 or 17, and there were sections of road that are missing. When I lived there in 2018, they're still missing. It's like, go fix your shit.
Oh yeah, it's awful. Yeah, the infrastructure here is just terrible. Like, and it's amazing because I work for a company in Colorado where they have all the weed money. So when I travel to Colorado, I'm like, oh my God, everything is wonderful here. You know?
I love visiting Colorado. It's so pretty.
It's like,
yeah, it's a cool place.
It's so great to drive there. All of the roads are clean and there's no crackheads everywhere. And it's just like amazing. But also, apparently they bury their power lines so their power never goes out. And I'm just like...
Well, they live in a foot of snow all the time. So
right, which is why I can't live there, which is why I'm like, I'll be remote forever because I need to live on the equator or something. I'm cold all the time.
I'm Canadian, and our power goes out in the winter all the time. You'd think we'd be prepared for it. Our drivers, snow happens, and everyone forgets how to drive. Like, everyone thinks us Canadians, we're so used to, like, this weather. We're not. We're fake Americans. That's what we are.
Well, the best part, since we're in this weird conversation and not about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, is that I started it. It's fine.
No, this happens every episode I'm on, so it's fine.
And it's not actually you, Jessica. It's mostly my fault because, again, I'm a bad host. And that's in North Carolina, right? We have mountains here, so we do get some snow. Not crazy snow, but we do get some snow. But so the Northerners that live here, right, because we have a lot of people, Charlotte is a very transient city, right? We have a lot of Pittsburghians and Philadelphians and New Yorkers and Bostonians. They move here because it's significantly cheaper than those places, and the crime rate's a little bit better, and it's warmer. But the one time a year, the one weekend a year that we get snow, we here in North Carolina lose our minds. We don't know how to deal with it. We just don't. And though I went to school in the mountains and I learned how to drive in snow, not everybody gets that opportunity. So they lose their minds. But all of the Northerners make fun of us. You Yankees don't know how to do blah, 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 blah. And, of course, we're like, yeah, but when it comes to summertime and it's 101, we're not dying. Whereas you guys are all, miserable. So it's kind of funny to me. But, yeah, here, I mean, people lose. I mean, bread and milk, if they threaten snow, you can't make a milk sandwich. All of it's gone. So it's
why is that a thing? Because that's not what I want if I'm snowed in. Like
I don't either. I don't want perishable items. I want canned food.
Well, okay. I want the potato chips.
Well, I was gonna say potato chips in the maritime provinces. You buy storm chips, and it's literally a bag that's like this big of 3 different kinds of chips all mixed in together, and they're called storm chips. And you go and you stock up on storm chips before the storm. That's like classic.
For those of you who are listening only to the podcast, she made a shape about the size of her body. So, and I
want that bag of chips.
I know, and they're called storm chips. Like, you can Google it. Like, it's a big maritime thing. Like, they know how to storm prep. Us Southern Ontarians do not.
Somebody from our Canada office to send me some storm chips.
Some storm chips. I like that. I'm gonna see if we can find some here. We just have hurricanes here, and so we don't have anything like that. We just, I don't know. The only
drama.
time that we had to deal with it was in 2018 when we had, oh shit, what hurricane hit us? I can't remember what it was called. And it was the hurricane that came through. It hit Charlotte pretty bad, and we lost power for a few days. And I was the house I was living in was on well water, and so we ran out of water pretty fast. So we would fill up the bathtubs with water that we could heat up and cook with and things like that. But the bathtub didn't work very well because the drain sucked, and then unfortunately one of the children doing what they're supposed to flushed the toilet. We're like, well, there goes all that water. So we ended up having to stay at my parents', which was fun.
I'm in a flood zone. I'm at the top of the hill, so my house is always fine. But we have found that the bottom of the hill will flood so bad that nobody can get through, and we're in a cul-de-sac. So, like, when I worked outside of the home, like, at one point, Matt would call me and be like, hey, you can't come home because it's flooded at the bottom of the hill.
Oh, no.
But
Storm chips. Storm chips.
You see them?
Is a flurry of flavors. Four
Yeah.
flavors in
I
one
love it.
bag.
4 flavors, yeah.
Smoking sweet barbecue, sea salt and vinegar, home-style ketchup, and creamy dill. A perfect snack combination to weather the storm.
See?
You
That's
lost me
amazing.
at ketchup.
I don't like ketchup either, but you pick around it.
They
I would
also
totally
have loaded.
try it.
They
I would
have
totally
loaded.
try a ketchup flavored chip, but
They have loaded hot dog potato chips and covered bridge potato chips. What the hell is it? Oh, Covered Bridge is the company. Never mind.
Okay,
Like,
I told you we do have weird chip flavors though. Like we experiment here.
do y'all have the contests? Like here, Lay's will have like a contest to like pick the next flavor. Do y'all have that?
We get the bags. I never check. Like I personally, I never check because a lot of contests will like appear on the product, but will still only be like U.S. only, or like specific provinces aren't allowed, or all around. Yeah, so possibly.
So back to my notes.
We've just been all around the world.
This is the best. No, seriously, this is totally fine. And no one listening will complain about this. They would probably rather listen to us talk about storm trips than me make fun of this movie.
I'm pretty happy about storm chips right now.
I'll try to bring a bag for each of you.
Oh, nice.
Smuggle them in.
Yeah, bring them to the States. Well, I mean, it'll probably be cheaper for you to like sneak them into Denver next time you're in Denver and then mail them from there.
Yeah. Try that. I'll try
Yeah,
that next
just
time I
make
can
sure-
get there.
I'll start working on trying to get your husband booked here in North Carolina. We'll get him in Charlotte.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. I love that even in Chevy Chase's vision, his fantasy of his pool, that Cousin Eddie is still weird.
Yes.
Like even in his dream, Cousin Eddie shows up and is just like taking off all of his stuff. I mean, it's just the weirdest thing ever, and I absolutely love it. I think it's.
But don't you have that in your family too? Like that one weird mofo that you know is going to show up because they're family and they're going to be weird, and you can't kick them out because they're family.
Well, actually, no.
You don't have one. Oh.
Well, okay. This is going to get a little sad for a second, but we had what I called, his name was Crazy Uncle Steve. Now, he passed away 2 years ago from cancer, but he was Crazy Uncle Steve. Now, he wasn't like Crazy Eddie, but he was funny. Like, he was way more fun and more sincere than Eddie, but he would do the craziest shit. Like, this is a guy who used to live on the border in Texas, and he had lots of security cameras and lots of guns. And when the border jumpers would come across, he would just stand on his porch with his mini arsenal that he would have and basically hold them hostage until INS or Border Patrol showed up and pick them up and bust them back over. Like, that was his fun time, So
that is crazy.
That's Crazy Uncle Steve. I mean, when he was nearing the end, he had cancer, so they kind of knew. And my mom went down there to kind of help clean some stuff up. They decided that, okay, we need to we need to get all the guns out of the house because as the cancer treatments were kind of going on, they were afraid that he would forget where they are, and then the grandkids would come over and stumble on a weapon. And so Mom took this picture of the dining room table, and there was probably about 30 firearms on the table. And so they got them all laid out. And so Steve is sitting, crazy Uncle Steve is sitting in his favorite chair, and his wife Carla is there, and she says, "I can't believe you had all of these guns here when the grandkids are here. This is so many, but they're all out here now, right?" And he goes, "Well," and he reaches under the table where he keeps, the table and pulls one out. And he's like, "Well, she's like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "There's actually 2 more that you guys haven't found yet."
Oh no.
So, crazy Uncle Steve, may he rest in peace. Again, there's me saying again. He was the nicest person ever. He was not, like Eddie is nice, but in kind of a selfish way until he does the wrong thing for the right reason at the end of the movie. But Eddie kind of sucks a little bit, But he's kind of like a big kid that doesn't kind of know better. I don't know. Just like there's something about Eddie that's kind of off because he kind of seems like this he's an all shucks kind of sweet kind of guy. He isn't aware that he's just a whirling dervish of chaos around him.
Yeah.
But then at the end he's having this moment where they're at the store and Chevy Chase is trying to be magnanimous and he's like, "Hey, I want to buy your kids some presents." And then he's like, "Okay," and he pulls out a list. Like he knew this conversation was going to happen.
Yeah.
And he says, "Not only do and I want to get you something real nice." It's just.
Well, he's been out of work for 7 years.
He's waiting for a manager position.
Horrible family guest. I think that he's supposed to be like the worst you can.
Yeah.
Imagine. That's not like a serial killer. That's still part of a family comedy. How bad could it possibly get where you would still tolerate them? And I think that's how far that goes.
I mean, do you have that guy, Jessica? Do you have that guy in your family?
I am that guy in my family.
Nice.
I don't go to family events very often anymore. I do see my in-laws, and they let me get shit-faced. And I fell last week because it was Christmas. And I fell because they're the best waiters. I can tell you that. They always are refilling my glass. And they just think I'm so funny. So like for them, because they're like older, like, my mother-in-law is like in her 70s. So this purple hair tattooed girl comes in, married her son, and now she just feeds me wine and laughs at all my jokes. So
my God, I want to be in your family because all I get is judgment.
Well, and she's Greek, and she cooks me all Greek food all the time, and I'm just like, "Oh, thank you." Yeah. It took a while to get here. She did not like me for the first 5 years, but it came around. I was persistent. So yeah, so now I'm that person. That's
nice.
Me.
I appreciate that. That's great. I would love to have you over for a Christmas party.
You know what? I wore a sweater last week. They were very smooth with this. Quick story. I wore a sweater last week for Christmas, and it's a Christmas sweater, and it says, "I'm so good, Santa came twice."
Nice. I did. I think you posted that. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wore that to the in-laws. I didn't say anything. Now it's pretty hidden, so unless you're like really looking at it, you don't see it. And then she comes out and she's like, "Oh, I have this shirt that you might like. Can you go try it on?" And so I try it on. She's like, "Oh, you can keep that and wear it for the rest of the night." And I was like, "Okay."
Nice.
She didn't mention the sweater at all. I was like, smooth. So,
yeah. She knows there's gonna be pictures, and she doesn't want that in the photo album. I like it.
So she was smooth. I was like, that's fine. I'm the guest here. Yeah. And I got a free shirt.
And you're not even mad at her for being so smooth about it, right?
No, it was good. I was impressed, actually. Like after I tried it on, and she was like, "Yeah, you can just keep it on." I was like, I got you.
That's cool. Back to my notes, and we're going to move to clips here real quick. The cat part was really funny to me. The cat in the box was funny, and then again,
yes,
when he plugs that and the cat explodes. I mean, that's not how it would work, but it was funny as shit. I lost it on that thing because of the sound effects, and they had to throw away the chair. Oh, it was great.
Oh, but Eddie wanted the cherries.
Yeah, he could like
You think I
refurbish
could
it.
have this refurbished?
Yeah, it just. The squirrel part was also funny. People are losing their minds over this squirrel. It's just, do they not have squirrels where they live? And they're not. That was really funny to me. And then my last note was also, well, I did write, how did Eddie know where the boss lived? I mean, I know that he said the street, but he wouldn't have known what house it is. But
Right.
it's fine. It doesn't matter. And then, what the hell kind of Keystone SWAT is this? Was my last note. Oh, I mean, all of the property damage that the city now has to pay for is just incredible.
Well, even the property damage before that, I was thinking, no wonder he didn't have enough money in his account for that swimming pool without the Christmas bonus, because he broke his windows multiple times. He broke the neighbors' windows, and once on like that they at least know of, and just the cost of all that to replace. Like, I had my windows replaced last year because it was an old house. Like that, the cost of that. No wonder you're broke, buddy. No wonder.
I haven't done my windows yet, but I know how much it costs. Yeah.
Nope.
All right, are you ready for some clippy clips here?
I'm ready for a new beer and a bathroom break. Can that occur?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it right before the clip, so go. Perfect.
This awkward pause is brought to you by me. So I'm having to redo my. Oh, here it is. My music playlist here, because I'm on a different computer now, and I'm doing it live as opposed to being like a professional. And
that's fine. On our podcast, whenever there's a technical difficulty or someone has to get up or whatever, and I have to edit it out, we just go edit it out, and then we take a drink.
Nice.
And then I hear it when I'm editing, and that's how I know. I'm like, oh yeah, this part, and then I do my cuts. My magic.
I'm trying to find my clip. I can't find my. Where is it? I have that one, but I can't find my. What did I do for our top 10 out of 10? I mean, I can't find the clip that I usually use for that.
Oh no.
That's annoying. I mean, I've got a bunch of other clips here. I have things like
Cornelius!
I got that. That was when we had a guy on the show named Cornelius. So whenever I needed his attention, I would just
Cornelius!
That would get my attention, so I'm assuming it worked.
Let's see. That's a good clip there. I haven't played that in a long time.
That's something I want to get set up, like a soundboard for our podcast.
Yeah. Well, this is just the 30 that I pulled over that are in my normal that I use a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently I don't have the other one, which is a little frustrating. Let's see if I can find it here.
Well, at least you got a little time.
Oh, wait, can y'all see my shirt? Yeah. Just bend over and I'll show you.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's funny.
All right. Thank y'all.
Oh, no worries.
I was struggling there for a minute.
He's having to find stuff for the sound stuff, so it's all good. All good.
I honestly can't remember what the clip is called, which is not helpful right now. The clip he says is, wait, what's supposed to happen? That's what it's called. Let's see. Is it under just wait? Is it called wait? All right, Swiss Army Man. Oh, slow down. All right, hold on. Is it? All right, so it's not wait. Let's go back to Swiss Army Man, because that's what it's from. Hi, kitty kitty.
He has his own chair.
I'm being really quiet about that so it doesn't wake up my dog because he gets riled.
I've got cats, but he's the only one that has a computer chair.
Mango gets his nerves tore up if he sees one, like on TV, hears one.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
My cats are all wimps, so.
We got him from the shelter, and when we were like, in the checkout line or whatever you call it to get him, a woman came up to us and they're like, "Did anybody tell you that he's been returned multiple times?" And I'm like, "Well, no, but why? That's awful. That's sad." And they brought me his paperwork and it said he eats cats. And I'm like, "Well, you don't have any cats." But now I'm like, "Oh my God, we have to take him now. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard."
Yeah, no one's gonna take him if it just says he eats cats. Like that's
I'm like, he's been
make sure to
brought
put that on like
back?
a collar just in case he ever gets out. You know, just he eats cats.
So bad. But yeah, I'm like, "Well, we don't have any." But and he was bad. Like we had to like pay somebody to come out to our house and train him and everything. Like, it was a
Aw.
bad dog. But we love him.
All right. We ready to resume?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So resuming. Unfortunately, YouTube people get to have this
See
moment.
it. That's part of the fun. See?
Oh.
They got to see your shirt though, which is fun. All right, my clips here. All right, I didn't find the right clip for whatever, but we're not worried about that. Right now, we're gonna play this first clip.
We're kicking off our fun old-fashioned family Christmas by heading out into the country in the old front-wheel drive sleigh to embrace the frosty majesty of the winter landscape and select that most important of Christmas symbols.
Nice.
It wasn't until I was listening to that where I realized that. Now I know that again, John Hughes wrote this movie, and John Hughes wrote Chevy Chase's character like this, but his character is the kind of guy that likes to use 15 words when 3 will do.
Yes.
He's
just a guy that just likes to talk.
I love it so much. I feel like John Hughes wrote my childhood because like every movie is just like a 5-star for me. It's like bam, 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 bam. I just love it all.
Well, that's also, I mean, I like John Hughes too. I really do. And that's one of the reasons why Spider-Man Homecoming is one of my favorite MCU movies, because it's basically a John Hughes movie. Just with Spider-Man. What did your t-shirt say? Oh, it says this.
Where do you think you're going to put a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you. You've got a lot of nerve talking to me like that, Griswold.
I wasn't talking to you.
I love it. I like the way he says it too. I wasn't talking to you, just very matter of fact. I want to know. I kind of want to know the history. Like, why is he so pissed at her to say that? Have him say that to her.
I don't even know that he's pissed. I just think he knows it's funnier.
Maybe right.
He is very extra. I feel like for like all the things are on vacation, so we never get to see his relationship with the neighbors often. So I feel like that's kind of we're missing. That's the in between the movies. Is his relationship.
Also, I'm wondering, is that her house? That Todd is hanging out, because when she boots him out, she has no issues booting him out, and is like, "You can't come back in." Like,
I still don't know why the police busted in there. There's no reason for them to do that, other than just to make her
she's been there
scream.
messing with him for years.
There's just no reason. If you want in, you're gonna have to break the door down. SWAT comes in and she screams. Again, there was no reason other than for us to laugh at them. Just because.
Sometimes that's reason enough.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
All right. Clip number 3. I must have hit enter before I was done typing, so I don't know what this is. So mystery clip.
Oh, no. She's not dead. Yeah, we're just divorced. She's history. And obviously she doesn't wear underwear. And there are plenty of shopping days left until adulthood, which is to say Christmas as in Yule log. Not a log. I don't have a log, but I mean, if I had a log, not in the sense that you think I said I did. Oh, good golly. 'Tis the season to be merry.
Well, that's my name.
Oh, shit.
Now, women, ladies, have you ever experienced a man, either to you or indirectly, be that much of a buffoon when it comes to talking to another woman? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Especially when I'm working. Like when I used to work, I remember like I would work at like Pizza Hut and I'd be waiting tables during buffet, and we'd have construction guys come in. And those would be the guys that would just like talk, and like you knew half of them were married, but they like sometimes they would let you know that they were married, and they'd still just,
But like it's not that because what's funny is because he's stumbling over his words. I mean, he's trying to come across as smooth, and it's absolutely failing. I guess is my point. Because one, I'm not smooth to begin with, so that's never been an issue for me. And two, usually for me, it just my default setting is humor. So I'm trying to make
silence works wonders. So when someone's like hitting on you and you don't talk back, then they fill in the space. Yeah. So because she's not talking back and she's just letting him go on, that's what happens. It might have been smooth if she had interjected at any point with like another comeback or something, but it wasn't. It was just him going on because she was just letting him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also have to remember that this was the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, it was expected that men were going to behave this way. And so, like, I didn't cocktail waitress in the 80s, I did in the 90s, but still, there is kind of the expectation that men are going to act this way. And as long as they don't get too, handsy or whatever. and they
men,
okay.
Men are not as smooth as they think they are.
Oh,
that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
As the man on this episode currently, I will 100% agree with you. You are absolutely because I've watched my friends who think they have game and absolutely just shit the bed because they don't. But it usually works for them because they're attractive. So it doesn't matter.
Or it's a numbers game, Yeah. If you hit on a lot, at least someone's going to find you charming. You playing the odds,
There's a joke in there that that's how I found my wife, is that I just, it was a numbers game. And
like, I've been married or in relationships like for so long, I don't even remember what that world is like. But I do remember being hit on when I was much, much, much younger and waitressing and stuff, but just remembering that it was expected.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. This made me laugh out loud.
Nervous or excited?
Shitting bricks.
You shouldn't use that word.
Sorry. Shitting rocks.
Like, you can't even be mad at that. You're like, that's right.
No.
Yeah. It's too funny. It's great. It reminds me, again, it's a dumb bit, but it's the same bit where in Thor Ragnarok, when the lady is telling Jeff Goldblum, she's like, the slaves have escaped and they're attacking the mainframe. He's like, whoa, I don't like that word. She goes, what, mainframe? He goes, why would I not like mainframe? And she goes, oh, sorry, the prisoners with jobs. He goes, okay, thank you.
Pretty much. Yeah. I want to know at what point in her life she was told that bricks was a bad word.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more that she just didn't realize that shit wasn't because she heard it so much.
I just imagined them moving into the RV and like Eddie having a talk with his children about how they don't need like brick houses anymore. Yeah. Like, that's why we're moving to this RV. We're over that. That's not a word we speak around here. Yeah. She's like, rocks. Got it.
You did kind of feel bad for those kids because at the end of the movie, they still have to go back and live with him.
Oh, yeah.
Now
I'm going to watch part 2 just because I want to know what happens, even if it's the worst movie ever.
It's just like, does DHS need to be called? I mean, are we okay? I don't know. Speaking of Eddie.
Shitter was full!
Shitter's full. Yeah.
That's one of those lines. See, that was a moment that I remembered from the movie before the viewing. I remembered that moment.
Yeah. That was pretty iconic.
Yeah.
Shitter was full!
I just imagine the smell. Because he did that in the storm drain for like days before. And like, I get it's cold. That maybe like helped a bit, but it's still real.
Well, as a guy that lived in a camper for 9 months while our house was being built, but it was at a campground, so we had a sewer line. But as the kid that had to help his dad clean the sewer line, that's foul. I mean,
Yeah.
it just is what it is. Speaking of, you mentioned it earlier.
I like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight. I want him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there on Melody Lane with all the other rich people. And I want him brought right here with a big ribbon on his head. And I want to look him straight in the eye. And I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Holy shit, where's the Tylenol?
That's a great endorsement for Tylenol. They must love that. All right.
I just want to say the funny thing about that scene for people that care about this movie. Funny thing about that scene was they thought it was all ad-libbed, but actually the actors not on camera while he's doing that were wearing words across their like around their necks, like on signs, so that he had the words to like just the insults, so that he just had the insults and he just pieced them together in the monologue. So yeah, that's fun trivia fact.
That's fantastic. I love that so much now.
Yeah.
It's like you want to go back and see, oh, there's the sign.
That's why you hear him really punctuate a lot of those insults, because those are the only words he's seeing, and he's just like, you know, yeah. And just imagine all the actors there behind like the camera with like words on signs on their necks.
That's right. I love it.
That's
all right.
Fantastic scene. I love it.
It is time for the game, and this week the game is brought to you by...
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
That's right. This is the game. This is the game that we normally called Hey, Did You Notice? But Jessica made the game this week, so I don't know what this game is called.
Hey, did you notice?
All right. It's still called Hey, Did You Notice? This is a game where it's not trivia based. It's things from the movie. Did you notice them? We'll go back and forth.
It's not okay.
It's a little bit of both.
You will have the answer if you watch the movie. Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's kind of how we do it too. It's like it's things from the movie, but with Andrew here, it would have been something like, name 3 of the 32 insults that he just did in the monologue, or name the how many lights did the cat eat, or something. I don't know. He likes those crazy things.
Okay, I wasn't that
I'm
specific.
so bad at this sort of thing. So.
Oh, it's fine. It'll be a good time. But the way it works is that Jessica will ask you a question first. If you get it right, you get a point. If you don't get it right, I have a chance to steal. Take it away, Jessica.
Fantastic.
Okay. So this is my first time doing this, so bear with me. In the intro animation, we get a sneak peek at Santa's list. Besides the name Griswold, give one other name that was on there. Now you know it's around G's. So sorry, what'd you say?
I said Gabrielle.
Oh no, but it was a good guess. That was a good guess. What's your answer?
I have no idea because, and I'll fully admit I'll cop to this. I didn't watch any of that cartoon because
skipped the intro.
I didn't skip it. I was playing, but I was doing show prep. I was deleting all the old stuff from last week's script and getting stuff ready for this script. No. I don't watch it because I didn't think it mattered.
Well, luckily,
in all
I
honesty,
have
I was probably playing on my phone during the intro. When I rewatched it today, but I was probably playing on my phone.
Griswold, somebody, Green.
Sean gets it. Green is on the list.
Yay!
The other names included Elwood, Eller, Emerson, Farrow, Fester, Forrest, Fowler, Frankel, Gaylord, Gentry, Giannani, Gibson, Goldberg, Gonzalez, Green, Griffith, Grimes, Griswold, and Grubb.
That was a total guess. All right, I love it. Okay.
There's a lot of property destruction in this movie.
Yeah.
Including, specifically, house windows. Well, how many? Okay, I have 2 answers that I'll accept for this question because the internet disagreed with me and I think I'm right, but I will if you give me the internet answer, I'll accept that. Wait, who am I asking?
Me.
You? Okay.
Yeah.
How many windows were broken in this movie?
So there was 2 when he opens the tree at the beginning. There was one that's the neighbor's window with the icicle missile. There's their other window when he cuts down their tree. And so that's 4. There was 1, 2, 3, I think 4 windows broken with the SWAT. So that's up to 8. Was there another window that was broken at any point? Drywall doesn't count going through the ceiling. I'm trying to think. I think that was, so I'm going to say 8 windows.
It is 8 windows.
Oh!
10 was the other, I would guess, because the internet says 10, but I think they were just doing that because they were doing math on the approximate amount he would have to pay to fix the window. So I think they just chose 10 to make the math easy, but I counted 8. So I'm going with 8.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So this one to Kelli?
Yeah.
Okay. The family talks about getting different medical procedures or illnesses throughout the movie. Which from this list is not one of them? So I'm going to give you a list, and one of them is a fake. See if you can guess. Okay.
All right.
Only one of them?
Only one of them. So
okay.
if she guesses it, then it's right. If not, you'll know which one it's not. That's all.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot, so okay. A lumbar drain, possible melanoma, wild turkey, a head injury, a strange rash, hemorrhoids, lip fungus, a sinus condition, heel bursitis, or a cranioplasty. Which one is the fake? I can read it again if you need me to.
All right. So I'm going to have to go with wild turkey.
No, that's not the correct answer. Sean, it goes to you. Do you want me to read it again?
Yeah, real quick, because that was the one I was going to guess too, but it was so weird that it didn't feel like something you would make up.
Since it's not wild turkey, I know what it is.
No, Eddie's daughter is, I believe, one of the older kids that aren't there is in a place to cure her wild turkey.
Oh, she was addicted to wild turkey. So
bourbon. There you go.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
I should have got that. I feel bad.
Lumbar drain.
That's the thing.
Possible. Well, they're all things. They're just which one do they
not have? I remember that from the movie.
Okay. Lumbar drain. Possible melanoma.
Yep.
Wild turkey. Yep. A head injury. A strange rash. Hemorrhoids. Lip fungus. A sinus condition. Heel bursitis or cranioplasty.
Cranioplasty sounds like too fancy of a word because I know Eddie had the head injury where he had to have the plastic put in.
And what's that called?
I guess that would be cranial, but it still sounds like something that he wouldn't say though.
No, I'm not saying they said it.
Oh,
I'm just saying they had this. Yeah.
All right. Well, then it's not that. It's not head injury. It's not the rhino or not the wild turkey. I remember the grandma saying, "I'll give you a quarter if you rub my heel, whatever." And he's like, "A whole quarter?" Like he's really disgusted by it. I remember grandma went to go get a kiss, and Eddie was like, "Don't kiss him. He's got a weird lip fungus going on." I remember the lumbar. For some reason, I remember the lumbar drain, which sounded awful because, again, back
They didn't say lumbar drain. He just said he had pint of fluid out of his lower back, which I Googled is a lumbar drain. So
yeah, which sounds, again, as a guy who's had back surgery, that sounds awful. Which one am I missing? I'm missing melanoma. Okay, melanoma. No one said that. That's not real. Or, I mean, it's real, but it's not from the movie.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
No, because the one mom had a strange mole that needed to be looked at. It was actually a strange rash. No one had a rash.
I could have swore I heard somebody say a strange rash. Okay.
They did not. I double checked. No one has a strange. They have lip fungus and heel bursitis and melanoma, but no other strange skin conditions were mentioned.
Okay.
I would have had it wrong again if she had come back to me though, because I would have thought it was the lip fungus. I didn't remember that part.
Yeah, the kid has it. The boy had it.
There was a lot.
Yeah, there was. I remember the hemorrhoids.
Just like Chevy Chase's character, this movie itself was extra.
Yes. Okay, who am I asking now? You?
Kelly.
Sean? Kelly?
Oh yeah, me. Yeah, me. It's me.
Yeah.
No, it's
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me.
Instead of a Christmas bonus check, what did Clark receive?
Oh, 1 year's subscription to the Jam of the Month Club or Jelly of the Month Club.
Yes, I will give you that. It was a 1 year membership to the Jelly of the Month Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just such a
I'm getting
dumb
my butt
thing.
whooped by somebody who's seen this movie once.
I've seen this movie one time.
I'm sorry. Okay, wait. This one's to Kelly now.
Yes.
What is Clark Griswold's job?
He's a food scientist.
I will give that to you. He is a
Yeah.
food additive designer. Yes.
This is like a moment from Friends where they're like, what is Chandler's job?
His job.
He's a transponster. That's not even a word.
It's so funny because I worked in food for so long. So I was like, when they're talking about like the things they have over at Food and Drug, you know.
I love that like the thing that he's making is a shellac that goes on cereal to make it less soggy. It's like
I wish somebody would make a shellac to make
that sounds
cereal.
chemical and bad. It's like lead paint.
It is the 80s. Like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Kelly, you got one. You
I
have
got
two.
points.
I have two more questions if you want me to ask them.
Well, might as well. I mean, what the hell?
Okay.
Let's go for it. We're already an hour and 40 minutes into this podcast.
Okay, they're quick questions. So who am I asking? Kelly?
This will be me.
Wait, you? Okay.
Yeah.
How many stockings are hanging on the Griswold fireplace?
Oh, jeez. Well, it can't be just the four of them. So 4 to 6. I'll say 8.
Kelly, how many stockings are hanging on the Griswold fireplace?
Is it none? Do they have no stockings?
There is stockings at the end.
I don't know.
The answer is 5. I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know why, but there's 5 stockings hanging on their
Yeah,
fireplace.
who's the fifth one for?
I was trying to
don't
think, do they have a pet? But
No, they don't. They
I
have a
can't
squirrel.
even say it's just the kids because that's what there's only like 4 kids. So I don't know. I feel like it's 4 kids and Clark. I feel like he's that big of a baby that he probably chose to have a stocking. And here's the last question. You both can answer just open because I don't think Kelly can make up the points here. But name 2 food items that are in Clark's office. 2 food items that are in his office. Any guesses?
I thought I saw popcorn.
I don't have that down, but there
Okay.
was.
does he have cereal?
Cereal is one of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would
Does he
have
have
to be one.
sugar?
There was brands that might be sugar, but I didn't look them up. But it didn't say sugar.
Mashed potatoes. I don't know.
No, it was pears. He had 4 giant pears in the back. He had apples, oranges. He had a whole burger with lettuce, tomato, bacon, and a hot dog.
Nice.
That
All
was
right.
hard.
That's fun. I'm surprised
Don't
as hell
make
as
me
I won
work.
that. That's fun.
I'm not used to having to think when
I
I
know.
podcast.
I know you're usually
That's-
pretty drunk by now anyway, so you're
That's
doing
part
fine.
of the fun. Every time I always lose every time that I
I thought
have
you
to
guys
do the
won. I thought you guys won last time.
I think we did on like a technicality.
Now,
Like, I think
technically you win, which is the best kind of win. All right, here we go.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
This is our top 3. We decided to do this movie is basically one kind of, personal disaster movie, right? Everything in his plans go wrong. So we decided to pick movies that are also kind of personal disaster movies, or also known as worst day ever movies. And this week I will let Jessica go first.
Okay, so I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
And for me, it was just there's a lot of movies where things go bad for the protagonist before they get better. So for number 3, I chose 127 Hours
Okay.
because it's based on a true story, and he everything did go wrong for him for those 127 hours. So there's that. My number 2 is Just My Luck. 2006 Lindsay Lohan Chris Pine flick, where Lindsay Lohan's character is super lucky and Chris Pine's character is super unlucky, and they accidentally run into each other and swap luck. And so Lindsay Lohan's character's bad luck all day until she has to find Chris before he hops on a train to switch luck back, but then they share luck.
You mean have sex?
No, they hold hands really long, and what's that big train station in the States? I don't know.
We have several.
That's always in movies.
Grand
Central Station. Yeah, I think it's Grand Central Station. All like the train things start flickering as the luck is being changed back and forth. It's a good movie. 2006. Yeah. Great time.
If you're listening to this podcast, you should go find this on YouTube just to watch Jessica gesticulate around.
It's called Just My Luck.
Just My Luck. Okay.
And then my number one is just my favorite movie overall. And he does go from, it does start where he's on the upward, but then he goes down on the downward, and then he goes on the upward again. And like he almost loses to a French guy. And I feel like that's pretty like worst case scenario. So it's Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
So that's
your favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. I watch it like 4 times a year. It's like my comfort film.
Okay, so Jessica, the house that he crashes into is down the street from where my parents live.
Do they have like a shrine there? Because they should.
No, they fixed it and then they sold it and somebody lives there.
Damn.
That Domino's that they eat, that's the Domino's that I worked at. And, of course, it was filmed at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I mean, all of the aerial shots were just generic aerial shots. Yeah. But everything was filmed in Charlotte. So
I've never met anybody who had that as their favorite movie. I am fascinated.
Yeah, right?
Oh, I'm a big, like, that is, I would say it's my favorite movie of all time,
That's great. That's really fascinating, yeah.
The part with the crepes, and then it's just...
I'm gonna rewatch that.
Are those really thin pancakes?
I might be missing something.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake.
That so just happened. I don't know what to do with my hands. It's one of those movies. It's really quotable. Yeah.
I do that all the time, though. Like I'm always like with my hands like up and down. They're just like they're foreign objects. I don't know when I'm talking. So I just related to the character,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about because when I quit smoking, I had nothing to do with my hands anymore. And then I became like some weird puppet woman.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Kelly, what's your
I will appreciate that. I don't think I've watched that movie since I quit smoking. Maybe I will appreciate it more.
Watch it.
All right, what's your top 3?
Me?
Yeah.
All right. So I will go 3 to 1 like she did. So at number 3, I've got The Purge. Ooh. Those people had a really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2, I've got Falling Down. Have y'all seen it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's, I think, to me, like the best bad day movie ever. Like,
yeah, Michael Douglas just goes on a spree. It's like the precursor to the Russell Crowe one where he's in the truck and he goes on a rampage.
But it's so much better than the Russell Crowe one, at least in my opinion.
All right.
And then at number 1, Die Hard, which is one of the greatest movies ever made. But also, he's having a really bad day. He just came for the party, man.
That is, yep.
He just came to hang out with his wife.
Our co-host Sonia would love you for that. Like, I'm gonna have to let her know right after this.
Oh, if y'all ever want to talk about Die Hard, I will talk about Die Hard.
Good to know.
We've actually reviewed it twice on our podcast, which is kind of funny.
I own all 5. I'll talk about any Die Hard.
So, all right, my turn. Let's see. My number 3. I have an honorable mention of Ernest Goes to Jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a worst day ever. I always try to find a way to connect it to Star Trek, but it's not really a Star Trek one that you could really connect to because it's not one person. Those are always ensemble films, so it doesn't really work. Yeah. My number 3 is The Evil Dead.
Ooh, yep.
That's fantastic.
My number 2 is Groundhog Day.
Oh yeah.
Groundhog Day is
that's multiple bad days actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then
it wins in quantity. It wins in quantity.
That's for sure. And then my number 1 is Money Pit.
I love Money Pit. I love it so much.
Jessica, you don't even know what that movie is, do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
The look on your face said everything I needed to know.
I was like, can I pass this? Like, should I pull this off? It's like, yeah, I know that one.
Oh,
but
yeah. Tell me who's in it.
I can't remember their name.
Yeah,
they were in that other movie.
Yeah. It's a Tom
Put
Hanks
that one on your list. You should watch it. It's fun.
It's a funny movie. Basically, it's just one of those things where, like, Tom Hanks and his wife, who I can't remember the actor's name, they get this house for like
Shelley Long?
Yeah, it might be that. Anyway, they buy this house, and then everything goes wrong with it, and the contractors are bad, and like, it ends up.
You'll totally identify.
No, I haven't seen it. But that's see, you said Money Pit, and I was just like, oh, so it's a baseball movie. I haven't seen it. That was. But I was thinking like the pit, like I know. I was just like, oh, okay, like yeah. No, okay, the house is the Money Pit. I got it.
Yes.
I understand.
And if
these awkward
since
pauses.
you bought Windows, I'm guessing you own a home, which you will understand. No, I love the Money Pit. I think it's fabulous. Yeah,
it's a good time. No one on Twitter participated, which is fine because this show is too long as it is. So I'm gonna hit the next button here. I'm getting a weird noise in my headphones, but I'm just gonna keep going because hopefully you don't hear it. I can't find my normal. Yeah, you're fine. I can't find my normal clip before I play this, so I'm gonna play this instead, which I think is kind of perfect.
Not a great plan.
Okay, this is where we give this score from 0 to 10. 0 being awful and 10 being the Die Hard. So, Kelly, you go first.
If 10 is Die Hard, this is a 9.5.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
Nice.
5. All right, Jessica, what you got?
I wouldn't go that high, but I gave it an 8. I'm like, nostalgia is like 5 points for me, and then the rest is like, the bits. So gets an 8.
All right, that's cool. I would probably give it a I don't know, 7 something, 7.5.
7 something.
I thought your rating was gonna be awful based on
So did I.
No, I don't hate it. I don't think it's great. I think it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty good. Will I watch it next Christmas? I probably would watch it next year, but maybe, I don't know. I would have to be in the mood, like really in the mood for it. And the problem is that in my house, we do have traditions of movies that we watch, and we have so many that we watch for Christmas that we just run out of time a lot of times.
I get that.
And so, because we keep adding new ones. I mean, the new one that that we added 2 years ago through the rotation is Klaus, the Netflix.
I haven't seen it.
It is magical. It is now my favorite Christmas movie. It makes me cry. It's funny. It's just sweet. I love everything about it. I really do. J.K. Simmons is the voice of Santa.
To my list of all the movies that
she comes to a movie podcast and leaves with a to be watched list.
Yeah,
that's what I absolutely expect. Y'all know more than me. I'm not a movie podcaster.
Neither am I. I'm just a guest host.
She just pretends she just plays one on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so this is where I tell Kelly to tell us more about her podcast and where my listeners can find it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, I'm with Drunk Theory. Anywhere you search Drunk Theory, you will find us. So, all your favorite podcast apps. We're on TikTok. I'm making drinks on TikTok. Instagram, Twitter, all of that. Drunk Theory is us. If you search Drunk Theory, you will find us.
Awesome. I'll link to your socials in our show notes. And Jessica, please once again tell our listeners where they can find your podcast.
Well, just like Kelly said, our stuff is available everywhere. Just search Opinionated Lushes. We're just a podcast of 3 girlfriends that like to have a drink and draw a topic out of a hat and see what comes out of our mouth holes. So yeah, that's people think we're funny. That's all. The people think we're funny.
That's why you're
I
here.
think you're funny.
Because I think you're
Thank
funny.
you. Thank you.
That's
I
why
think you're funny too. I like drinking podcasts unite. Not you,
Oh.
Sean.
Yeah, I know. Once again, I'm the guy in the back of the room that no one calls on. So
No, we call on you when we need a ride.
yeah, that's true. I will absolutely be your DD and be thankful for it. In the meantime,
really? Because we always need a DD at Drunk Theory.
when I was in college, I was the DD. That was my job, and I took pride in it. I seriously I got all of my friends home safely and sound, tucked in, kissed on the forehead. Like this was that was my job. I've never been drunk, not one time, and that was my service to society.
I am not going to try to corrupt you, but you are wonderful.
I make fun of him, but I'm super proud that he's, sober.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I made the same face as you're making right now, Kelly, the first time I heard that. Exact same face.
My friend Carrie likes to say I'm raw dogging it through life. So because I also don't drink coffee.
I don't think that means what she thinks it means.
Well, he doesn't even drink coffee. Like caffeine, nope.
Well, I drink caffeine.
Well, caffeine, but not like yeah.
Still, I don't think that means what she thinks.
I mean, she knows what it means. Believe me, she knows what it means. She has a dating podcast called Dick Tales, so she knows what it means. But she likes to say, "Oh yeah, Sean's raw dogging it through life." So yeah, it's funny. Yeah, there's a little little mini sponsorship for Carrie for that one. I'll let her know that she entered the podcast.
Perfect.
In the meantime, go to our website, cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. There you can find links to all 427 other episodes that we did. Most of them aren't 2 hours long like this one, but who knows? There's a few that are. Cheapseat Reviews, at CheapseatCast is our Twitter and all of the other socials. This is the last movie of the year. The next time that you will hear my voice, we will be in 2023, and we are going to be doing... Yeah, I can't believe we're doing it, but we're doing it. We're doing RRR. That's right. We're doing that triple R movie that's like 3 hours long. It's like the greatest film to come out of India. I cannot wait. I need to start watching it now because it's 3 hours long. So I'm going to be watching it and editing this at the same time. That's going to do it. So on behalf of Kelly and Jessica and Sam and Andrew, this is Sean saying thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. This is Cheap Seat Reviews.